Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. So we are a quarter of the way through 2025, so I thought I would do a quarterly wrap up. Okay, so I'm not very smart and yeah, the first quarter of the year already passed. It was after March, so it's January, February, March, so it's every 3 months, not 4 months. Why I thought it was 4 months, I don't know. I'm really bad at math, so I'm still going to do this. I'm still going to do the first 4 months. It will be my first quarter, and then I will probably do another one in June where I'll talk about March, April, and May. You'll see April again, but I just wanted to do this, so apologies. Technically, this is not first quarter of the year, so I know I'm going to get a ton of comments like, the first quarter of the year is already passed. I know. I just didn't want to scratch this video. Talking about all the books I've read in the first 4 months of the year, letting you know what I rated them, telling you my favorites, stuff like that. It's just a good check-in, you know, especially going to be good for me when I compile my list at the end of the year of like favorites and not favorites. It's good to look back on these, so I'll try to do one for every quarter, obviously. So yeah, we're just going to get into it. I'm going to share with you what books I read in January, February, March, and April, and then at the end, I'm going to tell you what ones that I really loved, what ones I didn't, that kind of thing. In January, I started off the year really strong, which I'm very happy with. I'll pat myself on the back for that. I read 9 books. Yay. First off, the first book I read was Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was a really good thriller in my opinion. Then I read The Blonde Identity by Ali Carter. Again, 4 out of 5. I read Dream Girl Drama by Tessa Bailey. 3 out of 5. Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. Another 3 out of 5. House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie. This is a memoir. I do not rate memoirs, so there's that. Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, 3 out of 5. The Favorite by Lane Fargo, 5 out of 5. And then everyone was probably reading freaking the third book, but I finally finished the second book in the series, Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, which I gave a 4 out of 5 to. February was not a good reading month for me, nor is it ever, because it's the shortest month of the year and it's the freaking worst. Winter. Ugh. I read 5 books, so like, buckle up, my friends. First Time Caller by B.K. Borison, 5 out of 5. Out of the Woods by Hannah Boehm Young, 4 out of 5. I finally read The Women by Kristen Hanna, 5 out of 5. No surprise? Not me. What is surprising is 5 out of 5 Too Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. Very surprising. And lastly, in February, I finally read Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver, 4 out of 5. In March, I stepped it up just a little and read 6 books, so let's get in there. I read Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth, 4 out of 5. Promise Me Sunshine by Kira Bastone, 3.5 out of 5. Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, 5 out of 5. Check and Mate by Allie Hazelwood, 4 out of 5. Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I have my copy. It's in the garage. 5 out of 5. And lastly, Summer in the City by Alex Astor. 3.5 out of 5. And lastly, in April, I really stepped it up. I read 9 books, which, yay. I read Bridesmaids for Hire by Megan Quinn. 3.5 out of 5. The Housemaid's... Oh, no. Sorry, not that one. The Maid's Diary by Loris Ann White. 3.5 out of 5. Sense in a trend here. Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage, 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. Country by Claire Leslie Hall, 3 out of 5. The Sirens by Amelia Hart, 3 out of 5. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, 4 out of 5. Passion Project by London Speary, 4 out of 5. Enchantra by Kaylee Smith, another 4 out of 5. And lastly, Say You Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, and 4.5 out of 5. I have all the books I've read. In total, so far, I have read 29 books, which is great. I think that's awesome for 4 months. I am happy with that. I think it's great. So as far as that, we're breaking down to genres. Romance, I've read 14. That's no secret. That's one of my favorite genres to read. So I imagine that will be my most read genre by the end of the year. We still have like 3 quarters to go, so it's gonna tick higher. Then thrillers, I read 7 of those, which again, not a secret to me, even though I feel like I haven't been reading a lot of thrillers this year. Not a lot that I've loved, but I've read 7 of them. I've read 3 fantasy, which is pretty decent for me. I think as time goes on, I like the idea of fantasy, but I'm just not that invested into it, so there's that. 2 historical books, which tracks. I don't read a ton of historical, but I like to read some. I read 2 YA, which again tracks. I read maybe a handful a year. And then lastly, I read 1 nonfiction. So going into favorites, like favorites that I have loved and obsessed with this year that I've read so far, I'm just gonna try to pull. First up, The Favorites by Lane Fargo. Love this one. Wasn't expecting to love it, but ate it up. Like if you want like a CW drama in a freaking book, this is the one for you. And the audiobook is the only way to go for that. Also, Sunrise on the Reef by Suzanne Collins. Wasn't surprised by this at all. Hey Mitch's Stories will definitely be one of my favorites by the end of the year. Heartbreaking. There's already been like a movie like announced. Not surprised about that at all. She did really well with this. Like I cried a lot. So another total surprise, Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. Wasn't even on my radar at all. Decided to read it. So glad I did. Amazing. Like just phenomenal. Another one that I wasn't expecting to be like one of my favorites, Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. It just wasn't. It was like a steamier new adult kind of romance that was very, very steamy. I freaking ate this drink up. Ate it up. And lastly, I have to say one of my favorites is The Woman by Kristen Hanna. I'm not surprised. This is not my favorite by hers by any means. I would probably put it like number 3 or 4. I've only read like 4 books by her, but I did really enjoy it. She knows how to craft a story. She knows how to get you invested from page 1, and I loved it. So these 4, like 5, I guess technically, are like, these will for sure be on my list by the end of the year, and that's pretty good. That's already half my list if you think about it for like top 10 of 2025. So I feel good about it. Like looking, I'm like, there hasn't been a lot I've loved, like really, really loved. And I'm like, you're only 1/4 of the way through the year. Like, take your time. You have time to read it. Don't pressure yourself. I'm telling myself this, by the way. As far as least favorite goes, I do have some of those. There haven't been a lot of books I've read thus far this year that I'm like, I loathe this so insanely much. But there's been some that I've just been like, First up, Beautiful Ugly by Alex Feeney. Did not enjoy it. Like, I have learned that I have just loved Daisy Darker by Alex Feeney, and that's been the only one. I did not like Beautiful Ugly really at all. Also, Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. I read this because Gabby from Gabby Reads asked me to co-host as part of her book club, and I've never read a Gillian Flynn book before, and I just didn't like it because of how dark it was. It is called Dark Places for a reason. I am fully aware of that. It was too intense. It had a lot of unnecessary gore and other things, in my opinion, so I just did not like it. It was not for me. I could see why other people love it, and I do respect her as an author, and I'm glad to have finally read a book by her, but I don't know if this was the good one, like, to start with. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. So there's that. As far as surprising goes, books that I was really surprised I love, I talked about Wild Dark Shore already, but in order to kind of like really try different ones, The Blonde Idea by Allie Carter. I love this one. A lot of people don't like it. I think it's just a fun spy novel. I always say if you like the movie Spy by Melissa McCarthy or The Spy Who Dumped Me, read this. It's just like a movie, okay? It's just a fun popcorn time. But I had a great time with it. It's fun. I enjoyed it. Another one that really surprised me was First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I love this one. I ended up giving it a 5 out of 5. It could be on my favorites list by the end of the year, but I say for this one, if you really like Sleepless in Seattle, check this one out. In fact, I've also learned that she's continuing on with the series, and like each book is going to feature a Nora Ephron movie, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like speak to my soul, woman. One's going to be kind of When Harry Met Sally. One's going to be kind of You've Got Mail, and oh, I'm so ready. I'm so ready. This one, I wouldn't say it's 100% surprising because I do enjoy her books, but I was surprised of how much I really loved it. It was disappointing. I do think disappointing and least favorites are different because disappointing is ones you go into thinking that you're really going to love, and then it just kind of disappoints you. And I'm just going to hold these 2 books up. I didn't dislike them a ton. They were just disappointing to me because I've given a lot of these authors a 5 out of 5. So that and the fact is kind of disappointing. I'm going to say mainly this one. Like this one was a disappointment, but these are still some of my favorite authors, and I will continue to read whatever they write. But as far as their last couple years releases to this year, it is a disappointment. I don't want to be like bashing. I'm not trying to bash at all. That's just my opinion. My favorite romance that I've read this year, again, First Time Caller. I really love this one. It was just so sweet. So sweet that the guy kept a list of like the female character's favorite things so he would just remember them to help surprise her in the future. Loved that. I really did. Also, Beg, Borrow, or Steal was a great romance. And I would also say Out of the Woods by Hannah Boehm Young, in particular, if you've been married for a while, is a great romance. I'm going to end it with my favorite audiobook because I have been reading a lot more audiobooks. Not like some people can bust through like 3 a month. I'm lucky if I do 1, okay? So it's not going to be a lot. But first up, House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie, an amazing memoir about like kind of growing up on YouTube. I watched them. I used to check them out from occasion. So it was very interesting and very thought-provoking and intense. Highly recommend. Also, if you listen to one audiobook this year, The Favorites. This is one that I loved. It is like, because it's documentary type of style. So it is a great, great, amazing audiobook that I would highly recommend. It's like a full production type of thing. It's worth the hype for a reason. Some people haven't really loved it. Like I said, I eat this up like freaking candy and was obsessed. So there you have my first quarter wrap up of all the books I've read, what I thought about them, you know, all that. If you like this, please let me know. I do want to continue on. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on all of these. Please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.